Welcome, guys.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to have you here.
You guys already know each other, right?
We do, yeah, we do. We met Paul. How many years ago, Paul?
Was it
8,
2000? Yeah, 14 maybe, 15.
Yeah. So a long time
Mexico.
ago. We met in Mexico.
Nice.
Met in Mexico. I remember when I first see Paul, I thought, like, this guy's is a big guy. You know, he's got a lot of tattoos. He's quite intimidating guy in the pool, like throwing around that
American football.
The American football,
yeah.
and then I remember you saying you thought I was a Chicano, didn't you?
I thought you were a gangbanger.
Yeah,
Literally thought it was a gangbanger.
Yeah. So we met.
Was probably happy about that as well, weren't you? Like at the time.
I don't mind. I'm easy. But yeah, no. What happened was he seen my palm tattoos, and he did. Obviously, he's covered in tattoos himself, but you didn't know it was possible, did you?
No, I didn't know.
So I said, yeah, it's possible, Paul. I can do it for you, mate. If you come.
That's we made a date, didn't we?
We made a date.
Yep.
We made a date, and
show your hands.
there you go. Get a good shot on that. So yeah, that's how we met, and then met Billy.
Yeah.
Billy come down. So yeah, good friends. I tattooed them both as well.
Yeah.
We had a session today, actually.
We did.
Yeah, me and Billy had a session today. We've got a session tomorrow with Paul. So I thought, you know what, Paul and Billy, they're special people, and they got a good story, and I thought, let's get them on. Let's get them on to share what they do, and
looking forward to it.
So yeah, let's take it back. Let's say, where did you grow up?
I'm from Whitby, North Yorkshire, small fishing town. As I was growing up, fishing was still relevant at the time. It's gone into decline. There's no fishing really out of Whitby anymore, having a small boat. But it was a tough town as well. Only a small town, but everyone knew each other.
Community.
Yeah, definitely a community spirit.
Yeah.
And you sort of, I don't know, it was like the fisherman ethic was go out, go to sea, come back, get drunk, have a carry on, and it was sort of in that realm. So that's
and repeat.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I brought up in Whitby, but to be honest, it's an ideal place to be brought up. You've got the seaside, got the countryside. You're certainly not in a city. So yeah, it was a good place to be brought up, to be honest. And my kids have been brought up in Whitby as well.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
all my life there. Yeah.
Yeah,
lovely.
But you're currently in Scarborough, right?
Yeah.
So a little
I am, unfortunately.
Yeah. Where you at, Billy?
I'm in Leeds now.
Leeds,
I've moved to Leeds.
Nice.
Only past year or two. I currently live with my partner.
Nice.
So it's good. Yeah, it's different from going up to a small town to then go to a city.
The contrast.
It's completely different, but it's good in a way because you can sort of respect and see how other people live, and the liveliness is good there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm used to a quiet place, knowing everyone, and I can walk down the street and I don't know anyone. Yeah. But it has its pros and cons, obviously. But
yeah.
How
did you end up in Leeds, by the way?
I just met my partner.
Is that what it was?
So
and then you thought you'd give it a shot?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Nice.
She lived in Leeds already, so
yeah.
To be honest, I wanted them to spread the wings from Whitby.
Did you?
Whitby, too many people I know.
Yeah.
They lose sight of the Abbey and they're lost.
Yeah, that's
right. They don't want to leave Whitby.
Yeah.
They're quite happy
in their comfort zone.
Yeah, I left Whitby when I was young, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, I bet.
It's great to go back. Absolutely brilliant to go back. But you don't want to be. You just don't want to be. Stuck in Whitby.
It's a bigger world out there.
It's massive.
World.
It is, and we do forget that. By the way, I think sometimes we just like to stay in our comfort zones, and it's nice and warm and comforting there. To be fair,
so how was it like growing up, like home life, stuff like that?
So growing up, I mean, I was brought up by my mum mainly. I have a stepfather who, to be honest, I didn't have a great relationship. I actually have a good relationship with him now, but that's only from me seeing a different side to him. As I've got older, I've seen it. When I was younger, I could be honest, I don't think he liked me, and I didn't like him. It was a classic stepfather.
So that's like me and Sammy.
So it wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so mum, stepdad, but then I mean, I was talking to Sammy. The deep side of it was, I mean, I'm touching 50. I know I don't look it.
You don't look it, mate. You don't look it, honestly.
I know, touching 50, but I still don't know who my real father is, which is, I don't know. It's I don't think it's been a problem, but it has really. It's said a few times over the last 50 years, basically.
Yeah.
It's not been something constant. You know, I'm not searching for my father.
No, no.
But I find it hard to ask my mum. There has been conversations, but she's never given me a straight answer.
It's quite difficult because sometimes you don't miss what you never had in the first place, right? And so, but then also you've got the other side where you see other people who've already got fathers. So I'm sure there's a level of curiosity there that.
But saying that, I was brought up, led to believe, and it might be my father. I was led to believe a certain individual was my dad.
Oh, really?
Because I carried his name up to a certain age.
Oh, okay.
And then I changed name to my stepdad's name, surname. So I was led to believe it was a certain person, which was kind of fine, I suppose. You know, and but then later on in life, a conversation came about where my mum kind of admitted that he wasn't.
It wasn't him.
Wow, man.
But then she changed her mind and said he was.
Yeah.
You know, and that sent me in a bit of a spiral.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm sure it did.
But I didn't want to. It was as if I was upsetting her talking about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't push it too hard. But then I was left with no answers really.
Yeah.
And I still haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, like I say, I don't think about it. It's not something I'm not in desperate need to know.
Yeah.
But for my kids' sake, maybe, you know, and I've got a 3-year-old daughter as well now, and just it's I don't know, it's where you come from.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's always kind of I get it because knowing your roots is quite nice.
It is, but like I say, some people are desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, literally desperate to know the roots, and I'm not that desperate, but there is a little part of me.
A little something. That
And I fear that he's going to die.
And then you won't get the opportunity.
I'll never know.
Yeah.
Or my mum will pass it on. Off.
Yeah.
When they go, then that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's gone with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lost, innit, then?
Yeah. And then I'll never know, barring like pull a DNA test on someone.
How old were you when the stepdad came into your life?
I'll have been. I was quite young, maybe 6 or 7.
Okay, yeah. So
because I had so many years with just my mum.
Yeah,
which was great, and then he came into it, and it was it was awkward.
I'm sure it was.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like psychological stuff. Do you know? It was like I couldn't have a biscuit when I wanted one. Stuff like that. It was all weird stuff like that. It wasn't so much physical. Maybe a little bit, but that was back in the day. You're looking in 80s, late 70s, 80s.
I think my dad still hits me now, so don't worry. Yeah, no, especially in that era, to be fair, it was definitely a different era.
Oh, yeah, I don't, and it wasn't a bad thing. That instills things into you.
Discipline and toughness.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a lot to be said about all of that, to be honest. You know, if we're too soft with people from a younger age, it doesn't do them a lot of justice later on in life. They
definitely not.
Whatever happens, they either have to learn it at some point or they'll get beaten into submission.
That's an unfortunate thing of today's youth.
Yeah,
they're kind of missing that.
Yeah.
But like I say, it certainly wasn't anything. It wasn't anything untoward, you know, nothing serious.
Yeah. How do you feel like not knowing who your father was has affected your life in any way?
Well, like I say, I kind of. It's not so much not knowing, and I mean, like I say, I don't totally know. Well, I maybe do.
Okay.
Because there's a name, there's a person, and I actually have a half sister.
Okay.
Oh,
so
well,
and
really?
that's that person's.
Oh, really?
That's the person's.
It's all right. We keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
No, we won't. We'll lean it for now. That'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the definite daughter. That's my mum's daughter with this man, and I'm the I don't know what I am basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, how it affected me, I don't know, because like I said, Dave, my stepdad, although it wasn't great when I was younger, I did kind of have a father figure. So, but whether that's moulded, well, it must have moulded me into I am, and maybe how I've treated my children.
For sure.
But
for sure.
I've definitely used it as a positive.
Yeah, definitely.
I have, some people go for a bad experience, and they take that onto their children, and then their children onto their children.
It's like a chain reaction,
yeah,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, I turned it.
I love that as well, because to be honest, I kind of live in that world of trying to be the change that I want to see, or maybe that I didn't quite get when I was younger. So to kind of take on that responsibility of doing something different to what you experienced in a more positive way, you know, can only hopefully lead to something positive.
I didn't do it consciously, but I always thought I want to be, you know what I mean? My kids are my life basically.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be good, even though I split with a mum. You know, that doesn't, this day and age, that's not a big thing. A lot of people, the majority of people don't stay together now.
No.
Yeah.
It's not, so it was a bit awkward, weren't it, I suppose? Obviously you know more than me. For me, leaving home,
different
as I was
perspective.
older, obviously it's one of them things, innit? Like, I can't remember how old I was now, maybe 9 or 10. So like I was aware. Obviously, I don't know ins and outs. Like, I don't know what happened and stuff like that. But I was aware that obviously he wasn't going to be there anymore. Which,
it's tough.
It can be one of them things where, like you say, it could be months on end where I won't see him. And
oh, really?
No, I'm not saying that happened, but that could go that way.
Yeah.
But it's not, and to make the effort to still be there, even though, because since maybe the age of 9 to where I am now, adult wise, I haven't actually fully lived with my father.
Yeah,
I've lived with my mum, and then obviously I see my dad. But to make that effort and be there every week, every fortnight, every month, obviously it's a challenge. But
of course it was.
It's what he wanted to do, and obviously we're his children, so it's good in that aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because some people literally they disperse the responsibility. They don't. Yeah, they just walk away from it altogether, didn't they? Yeah. So.
But especially as well, with jumping ahead in time, like to COVID. Like, even though COVID happened and all this, that and the other, like, it gave us that time to... I actually stayed at my dad's.
Nice.
And I stayed there for 6-7 weeks, and...
Gelled.
From 9 years old, I haven't lived there, and all, me, my brother and my sister, all the siblings and my half-sister, we're all there in the same household, and that's never happened, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
The benefit out of that is to give us that time together.
Yeah, brought you together.
We would have never had that otherwise,
yeah.
as I was getting older, and... So it's good in that respect, but it was always the effort was always there. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we didn't. I never not saw you, did I?
No.
I mean, I was working away, so there was obviously a week or two. I worked 2 weeks on, 1 week off.
Yeah. So what do you do just for the people?
So I was working on a land rig at the time. So an oil rig, but on
an
land.
oil rig.
Oh, okay. Nice. A land rig.
So there's land side of things and then offshore. So I started on land. 2 weeks on.
Where was that?
I was only in Hull, which helped.
Okay.
But it was far enough up to stay away. You couldn't travel all the time.
Yeah.
So when I went away, I was away for 2 weeks, and then home for a week.
Well, that's the
we
thing.
Sort of, like, I had you every weekend when I was home.
To have a week at home, like to be at work for 2 weeks straight and only have a week off, it's tiring, innit? So like you could maybe get in the mindset of like, oh, maybe not this weekend, I'm real tired, but every weekend, do you know what I mean? You're always there, he'd always come pick us up, he was always going to be there, do you know what I mean? That was the good thing about it. So it didn't really feel like, even though I didn't see him there every night, but I wouldn't because his job anyway.
Yeah.
It sort of felt still normal.
Yeah. And do you know what? That was very similar with even my dad. Like, in that era, it was literally just working all the time to pay the bills. And so there was definitely a level of absentee from the father. But, you know, hopefully there's always an opportunity to make up for lost time, you know.
You can respect it as well.
Yeah, you've got to, because... It's a necessity, isn't it?
Of course.
I think if we had a choice, we probably. Yeah. But everyone's got to pay the bills, isn't they?
Yeah. So you was raised by your mum and your grandmother.
Yeah.
So what would you say? What values did they instill in you? Like, obviously not having a father figure, you had what values did they instill?
What values?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
If any.
Yeah, no, I mean, they must have raised me right, because although, values-wise, that really is a good question.
Did they feel? Do you feel like they filled the role of not having your
absolutely.
father?
Yeah. I mean, again, I had a stepfather, but it was strained. You know, I was all for
tension.
my mum. And I suppose if I look back now, it was probably hard for him as well, because I was obviously more for my mum, and if anything happened, I'd be straight to my mum and she'd stick up for me.
I bet, it was probably tough on him, to be fair.
Exactly. I'm maybe thinking of it like, oh, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But actually, it was hard for him because of the bond I had with my mum.
Yeah.
But do you know one thing I think she instilled in me was hard work.
Okay.
Because she always worked. She was. Yeah, whatever, worked in a pub, whatever, you know what I mean?
Whatever
but she always worked.
She provided.
So, yeah, exactly.
She provided, man.
So I've always had a hard work ethic, and it's definitely rubbed off on this one.
Yeah.
Because I know, because of the industry, and he's come into the industry I'm in, I've basically got him his start offshore.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So, and obviously he's my son, so I'm not going to badmouth him, but he's never let me down.
Yeah, good.
He's got that same method. And if I ask him to come to the house and help me do something, he's there.
He's there.
And he'll graft until we stop.
He's a good boy.
He doesn't.
He's a good man, shall I say?
Yeah.
He's a good Billy boy.
Still a boy.
Yeah, because so you both work on the oil rigs together, is that?
Yeah, I mean, not together, but we both work in the same industry.
Oh, okay.
But at the minute, he's offshore, so he's out at sea, and then I'm actually on land.
Oh, right.
So I work in Switzerland at the minute, which is amazing. Like that side of the job, unbelievable. It's like a holiday, but it's not like a job. But there's obviously downsides to every job. I mean, you're working 12 hours, so it's a long time to be at work. You work nights.
Right,
so
how many days a week is it?
You work
constant.
Is it literally 7 days a week?
Yeah.
And so for like a month, 3 months?
I'm 3 on, 3 off, so 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off.
3 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm 2 and 2, so I'll be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Wow,
which 2 weeks doesn't sound a lot of working, which maybe in hindsight it's not, but you fly home from Switzerland and then after a day or two, I've got I ain't got long left. I've got 12 days. I've got 10 days. You know what I mean?
Before you go back.
I'm nearly going back again. And to plan stuff, it's hard because
well, you wanna catch up on a lot of sleep, rest, and like have your downtime period as well. But I think like working 2 weeks solidly, like that's quite an intense way of working. Mentally, so
it can break you, but you just have to make sure. Yeah, you have to make sure you're in the right mindset. You make sure you get your sleep. You need to be positive about it, otherwise it will break you basically.
But what type of work would you actually do on there?
So I'm a tool pusher now. So I'm pretty much top of the tree. So I'm office based, but I do. I'm a performance pusher, so I do get a chance to go outside and I relieve the driller.
I bet you love it. Back to the roots.
To do it. But not as much. It is a lot more office work. This job especially, a lot more office work than it is being outside and being on the levers.
Right, yeah.
But it's good. I mean, but it's stressful.
Yeah, it's really.
I'll tell you why it's stressful, because you're dealing with the politics of it.
Yeah.
When you get to that level, and it starts becoming it's the office politics that you're dealing with.
He's sort of the one that's pushing you to do it.
Yeah. Well, you've got a directive from the top as well, exactly, you? So there's probably deadlines there.
That's what I struggle with. I find it hard.
Yeah, I know.
You know, because it's say one thing but do another thing.
I know. Yeah.
Like you say, honestly,
There's
I find that hard.
Yeah, I know. Especially from coming, I was a tradesperson. I was like a plumber by trade. So yeah, when you get kind of exposed to that corporate world, it's a completely different dynamic. That you've got to try to adjust to as best as possible. But I've always been a kind of advocate for authenticity anyway, and just what you see is what you get. And sometimes the corporate world doesn't sell that in what it actually is. It's kind of like, it's exactly what you just said. Say one thing but do something else sort of thing. So no, I fully understand that. And I heard that you was in the Navy as well, were you?
Yeah, so
take it back.
Take it back again.
Let's go back.
I think this was another thing to do with my father, who I think is my father. He was actually in the Navy.
Oh, was he?
So I knew that. My mum had obviously told me. I knew that, and so I'd had this weird pull to join the Navy.
Wow.
From a young age. Now again, I didn't consciously do it, but it obviously must have been like wanting the father figure. He was in the Navy, so
following in his footsteps.
I wanted to join
100%.
the Navy. And I actually joined the Navy, the same branch that he was in as a marine engineer.
Oh,
wow, man.
So at 15, I signed a papers
15?
at 15.
Wow.
Left home at 16.
Oh, wow.
And and went down to Plymouth and joined the Navy.
Oh, brilliant.
And it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was in the Sea Cadets, so I sort of had an inkling what I was letting myself in for, but I thrived, absolutely thrived on it. It was like I don't know, like playing a game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it didn't seem like real life because I was
Yeah.
so young.
Yeah.
It just didn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
And the training and the training must have been good as well, like from a disciplinary point of view, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
like keeping yourself fit and being pushed to some.
Well, I actually
limits.
won the Owen Cup, which was the best recruit out of the entry.
Okay.
So out of 120 new entrants, I was the best.
Mate,
of the
that's
bunch.
legit,
Nice.
man.
So
Yeah.
that was absolutely brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah, I was right up for it though. You know, like I say, 16-year-old.
game.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't seem like real life.
Yeah,
It was just like,
you are still a kid, really,
Oh,
isn't
definitely,
it?
absolutely, yeah.
You're just hungry, kind of like you're just
Yeah.
game.
But then you left training, and then it got a bit more serious because I went from basic training to my mechanics training. So I joined in September 90. By February 91, I was on a ship. So I'd done my training up to February, and then you put straight on the
Yeah.
ship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Crash
then,
course.
and to be honest, I was. I forgot about telling you. I was kind of bullied when I first went on board. So there was you go in a mess. So the mess I was in, there was a leading seaman was the Killick of the mess, they call him. He was a Killick steward, and for whatever, I mean, I must have snored. So this is how bizarre it is. And my bunk was near his bunk. Anyway, he took a dislike to me. Didn't like, and he just badgered me, but to the point where, I mean, I was 16, well,
yeah,
17,
you're a kid still.
16,
Yeah.
17, and there was tears. I had to tell my chief, you know.
Yeah.
It was all anyway. He got moved on, and a Welsh guy, Taff Pugh, I'm still friends with now. He became Killick at mess, and it all changed. Literally all changed.
See, one
Because
person
I
could
didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He just spoiled everything.
Oh yeah, that's
He
what,
literally
one bad
spoiled
apple,
everything.
innit? It's just like just ruined
You know, it was that wasn't very nice.
Mm.
Especially when you're that young and you're away from home.
Mm.
But then when Taft was Killick at mess, it just changed, and then I became like a character in the mess. You know, we started, but then the Royal Navy took hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Tell us some stories. Well,
I don't know if I could say it on it. Well,
this is
so
X-rated.
yeah,
so
I mean, all jokes aside, though, one thing that it led to, and I think it was pretty much direct. So I was in Great Yarmouth, and one of the lads with me, we were walking back to the ship, and we sort of bumped into three lads. There was three of us, and we bumped into these lads. Anyway, it turns out these lads were army, and we were navy. But there was a scuffle broke out, and Javen, one of the lads, he was a bit handy. He was a good bit older than me. They were scrapping and that, and I was like stood like, I'm watching it, and then next thing, it sort of calmed down, and then one of them come to me, and it sounds awful, but I headbutted him, but it set like a reaction because I got a taste for it. I know it sounds awful.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
I was 17 years old, so like it was like a first
adrenaline
proper
as well.
fight,
Yeah.
not like a schoolyard fight. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And I got an awful thing to say, but I got a bit of a taste for it. So that's kind of one of the bad things the Navy did to me. It was all about drinking, women, and fighting. That was it
Wow.
at that age. And it came to.
Sounds like the perfect Friday night.
Well,
Yeah.
it was for a while, but then it backfired on me. Yeah, big time.
How did it backfire?
So, what's the date now? It was actually 7th. I think it's
It's the 4th of May.
7th
today.
stroke 8th.
May
It was,
the
I
4th.
don't know, I think it was the 7th of May, 1992.
Yeah.
So we're coming to a bit of an anniversary.
Okay.
So this was a Thursday night, and I was due to sail around the world on the Monday morning. Orient 92 15 countries all around the Far East. I was on that ship, yeah. So Thursday night, I had Thursday off, Friday off, and I was duty weekend. So there was no point going home to see people before you went, because I was duty Saturday, Sunday. So me and one other, we were like, right, well, let's go out. We'll go on Lash. Went out, and bear in mind, I was a kid. I was 18, but I was knocking back. I remember it vividly anyway. I was knocking back bottles of Alston pills with peach snaps and vodka chasers. Yeah? So I think I'd done about 8 of them. Right? If you can imagine how much of that was. Plus a couple of pints to start with. Absolutely wrecked. Gets a taxi into Union Street, which back in the 90s, it was like the Wild West, really. But you thrived, like I said, you thrived on it. There was always something going on. So I'd gone in a bar. It was Sergeant Pepper's, it was called, on Union Street. I don't think it's there anymore. Just a big long bar. I remember going to the bar. I remember ordering 2 bottles of Kronenberg for myself. And I stood at the bar and I like turned and put my elbows on the bar. And I was just and there weren't many people in, but there was some lads messing about on the dance floor. And this like I say, I'm not proud of it. So I just decided
to have something.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Put the drinks down, walked onto the dance floor, hit this person, hit this lad. He dropped, and then within a split second, and I'll never rightly know but someone glassed me from behind.
Did they?
Yeah. So and I often, I don't think, well, I don't really, not often, but I've thought back in past and I thought, did I deserve that? Probably not. You know, I'd punch someone. It's not cool. But if they'd have punched me back and maybe knocked me out or whatever, I'd have took that. But they went that one step further.
Yeah, that's right.
And so within a split second, they glassed me. I remember bending over. The bouncer walked me to the door. I remember being stood outside. Ambulance was called, but I was that drunk. I didn't really understand what was going on.
Blood everywhere.
And I remember looking at myself thinking, my jeans were just covered red. My shoes were red. My green t-shirt just red all down the front. But I couldn't understand where it was from. And I was like, what? Anyway, ambulance came, took me to Derryford Navy Hospital. So that was a Thursday night. I was too drunk for anything to happen really. Yeah. So anyway, the next day I woke up in the eye hospital in Plymouth, and literally I got it was literally within a day or two. Basically, you're not going to get your sight back.
Really?
And that was that.
Wow, man.
So 18 years old, the captain came to see me, and he was like upbeat. He was like, "Look, get better. You can fly out to Hong Kong and come back with the ship." So I sort of had that hope, you know, that someone was going to give and get better. But basically, I was given a decision. I was never going to get my sight back.
No.
I remember they sort of tested me, looking in closing my good eye, and looking, see what I could see, and all I could distinguish was basically light and dark.
Yeah.
You know, that was it. Not a shape, not nothing. And the decision had to be made. Was I going to leave the eye in or remove it?
Oh, really? Yeah, right.
No, the deciding factor in that was, what they said was, if you leave it in, there is a small chance that it can eventually affect your other eye.
Wow.
And make that bad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that weekend, I made the decision to lose my eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, kind of like, I'll just have a glass eye and I'll mess about.
Yeah.
I did for many years, but
that's
horrendous.
hardcore, bro.
Yeah. And you know what? You never got counselling. You never.
No, you just had to.
You know, that's a big thing. You know,
it's a limb.
It's a limb. It's like losing a limb. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember to go home, I had to learn to. It was obviously wasn't an eye. It was just a bit of plastic.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Socket.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to take it out.
Yeah,
to clean it. And I remember, I'll never ever forget that moment when I looked at my face with just one eye in my head.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like a fainting.
Wow.
moment.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, like I was just took back.
Is that when the penny dropped kind of thing?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Honestly, to look at yourself in a mirror and you're missing your eye in your head.
He doesn't ask you to clean it at any point,
No,
does it? No,
no.
that's all right.
We was gonna put it in your cup though. Yeah, we was gonna put it in your cup and so you can drink it and have a look at it.
It's a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like losing an eye? Like how did you deal with it after that? Was it you had to learn? Did you have to learn?
So the weird thing, you come out was judging. You know, if I went to pick a glass up, I'd be like, oh, too far,
wow,
I'm knocking it over.
Wow.
And you know what, one thing at the start was crossing roads. It was judging distance of cars being away from you. That was a big thing. But you just got on with it. Like I said,
It's second nature now, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
absolutely,
like,
yeah. I mean, I passed my driving test with one eye.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's.
Did you tell them you had one eye?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you have to by law.
Oh, yeah. But it's not a problem. It's not. I think the only thing you can't do is drive HGVs.
Okay.
Legally, you can't.
Oh, okay.
But anything else.
Yeah, look how far you come though.
And do you know
with
what?
one eye.
I only found out recently. It's actually when you lose an eye, you only lose 20% vision.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. You'd think it was 50,
Crazy,
wouldn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah. Honestly. So it was a woman that does prosthetic eyes. I've been recently, and she was talking about it. And yeah, so you only lose 20% of your vision.
Right.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that all that time.
Yeah, because this eye probably does so much.
Because Harry does our social media. He's blind in one eye as well.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. He didn't lose his eye as such, but he actually got into a bit of an altercation himself, and ended up losing his vision.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah, and so I can imagine it must be a kind of tough thing to process mentally at first when it happens.
Oh, absolutely. But I think my age, I didn't really know what was going on. You know, I did, but I'm not being.
Yeah,
when I was 18. I was an adult, but still, I wasn't. I was a child, really.
Yeah.
You know, and you just go on with it. You just, what can you do?
Did that calm you down a bit?
No.
You didn't know.
Do you know what?
It made
I
you
was
worse.
10 times worse.
No way.
Would you believe? Honestly, you wouldn't believe.
Wow, man.
I sort of, I didn't do it on purpose, but did I ever? I don't know.
If you I've lost an eye, like
Get
what?
to repay on someone, you know what I mean?
Wow,
Okay.
is that what it was?
I
Eye for an eye, literally.
An eye for an eye.
I literally, I was a nightmare.
Wow.
Fighting
Yeah.
all the time. And do you know what? Not once did I ever think that it could happen again.
Yeah.
Bizarrely.
I know.
Yeah, imagine, yeah.
I actually got hit with a glass again.
Did you?
A few years later, on top of my head, and that like stunned me.
Yeah.
Concussion, like level of
it
concussion.
it didn't give me concussion, but it like for a second it happened, and I thought,
Trauma.
Jesus Christ, that could have happened again.
Yeah.
It was
Big red
a
flag.
trigger.
Absolutely.
So what was the turning point for you not wanting to fight anymore? How did?
No, he had a fight last night. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. I'm still trying to grow through this.
Do you know? I mean, it took a while. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It took it wasn't like a few years, and then I decided to probably all through my 20s and my early 30s even.
Really,
But just growing up.
Yeah, you just grew through it.
I'm nearly 50 now, but yeah, I'd say the last 10 years from being 40, that's how long it took.
Yeah,
I
really.
Now, whether I was harbouring aggression due to that, maybe.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I've never let it out for people to know why or not.
You've never had no one to speak to, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
you just get on with it.
Yeah.
In your head, that's what you think.
And kind of like the typical male stigma is always around not talking about things and just getting on with it all the time.
Yeah.
So there's a big chance that most of us are harbouring things and not quite dealing with things, and it comes out in different types of ways. And it's hard for us to understand, but we naturally, I suppose, mature through these things and grow through them anyway. And I've got some boxing gloves if you want to.
I mean, as well, as bad as it sounds, like for him to lose his eye, like now I know, obviously I've grown up with it, but it's like, what's the word? It's sort of like, it's good in a way, because if he never lost his eye, he'd have never left the Navy.
Yeah, no.
And I wouldn't be here, do you know what I mean? It's a totally different life.
Wow.
He'd have never come back to it, be.
I love that, by the way.
As bad as it sounds to say, like, you have to have one eye now.
Yeah.
Like, it'd have been totally different.
I wouldn't change my life.
Nah, I love
Even though I missed out on that trip, and I missed out on maybe a long career in the Navy, which I loved it. I did love the Navy, but I would never ever trade for what's happening
Yeah,
after.
because it invited new opportunities into your life.
He's right what he says. I wouldn't have
happened
at
all.
Met his mum. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
It'd be different.
Yeah,
Totally
that's
different.
Absolutely different.
But like, it's sort of fate, innit? Do you know what I mean? It happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
That reasons we're sat here now, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. It is.
It's
little
little thing can change everything, isn't it?
little ripples make big waves.
Yeah,
is,
exactly that. So, so you like fighting? Well, you did like fighting, not anymore. But also, marriages.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So when I lost my eye, I met a girl in I'd just been to Tenerife. I met a girl from Wigan, and we were going to write while I was away. That was as far as it got. We were going to write to each other. But obviously, I lost I got glassed. So it sort of it fast forwarded. It happened quicker basically, and next thing I'm living in Wigan with one eye. So in a town that I don't know anyone really, I only really knew a couple of people and that, but yeah, I didn't, and I it was just bizarre, but lonely because I didn't know anyone. I mean, her family were great, and she was sound, and yeah, nothing against her, but I think it lasted 6 months. We actually got married in Mauritius.
Oh, is it?
Mental.
Yeah.
Honestly, absolutely mental. Yeah, she sold a car and we got married in Mauritius.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah.
So that was your first marriage?
Yeah, that was first wife. So like I say, I think we were married 6 months, and then I ended up moving back to Whitby, which is what I should have really done anyway. Being around people that I knew.
Familiarity.
It was definitely hard being in Wigan. I mean, I had like just daft little jobs. I didn't have a proper job. Do you know what I mean? It was a weird time. But like I said to Sammy, it's like I've had 3 totally separate lives. My life now, my life with Billy's mum, and then that little short life there. It was absolutely weird. So yeah, went back to Whitby, met Karen, Billy's mum, and we ended up having 3 children, married, 3 children. Well, again, I'm not going into absolute details, but I wasn't the best husband, not in an awful way, but I just wasn't, and the best thing for both of us, for her as much as me, was we ended up splitting up. Not nice. I mean, we tried to split up, and it was hard leaving.
Hard leaving the kids, right?
That was the thing. It was, no offence to Karen, it wasn't leaving her. The kids.
Yeah.
So you'd sort of try again, but it just wasn't right.
And
you know what?
But that's correct. That can create more problems in the process if you hold on to things too tightly.
Yeah. And I give that advice out to people, and I don't want people to split up because it is better being a family unit, but what's not good is staying together for kids.
For the sake of it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, because what happens is the kids pick up on it.
Yeah.
Whatever way you look at it, they'll pick up on it. And if there's a kind of negative relationship there, because you guys haven't moved away from each other, they'll absorb that and they'll...
Absolutely.
And
then
they'll
they'll take it on into their lives.
100%. So...
Which is, so we
but what you did was you actually separated but still actually stayed in everybody's lives, which is a healthy way of...
I mean, to be fair with Karen, as much as she hated me at the start,
I'm sure
we've actually got on better over the years.
Yeah,
it's like friends. I suppose she's a friend. She's the ex-wife.
Exactly.
Or a friend as such. But I can talk to her fine, and we do get on.
Yeah, of course. Civil.
Yeah, good. That's all you want.
Absolutely
Through that kind of distance, it grew you back together in a different way. So that's really.
And then I vowed I'd never get married again.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was
done it twice.
Yeah, no, I did. I thought I'm having none of that.
Yeah,
no chance.
Headache.
Yeah, no need. I'll just be a free spirit and just. But then, my now 3rd wife, again. I mean, she's 14 years younger than me.
Wow.
So it wasn't done on purpose, but we sort of got together, and then that just grew over time. I wasn't like thinking, young lass. So I think, what was that? I've been 36 and she was 22. when we
Oh
got
wow,
together.
yeah.
And now she's nearly 36 and I'm 40.
Yeah, that's it.
So did you grow from your past 2 marriages?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what did you change going into this 3rd marriage?
Just be a nicer, a better husband.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't get married straight away.
No.
That was well down the line.
Better
Just be a better person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You know, in fact, she tortured me to start, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
She was a young lass.
The tables
She
are
was
turned.
out and, you know what I mean, and it was me sat at home and what's she up to?
Yeah.
There's nothing untoward, nothing bad, but
Yeah.
she was on
The
other
dynamic
front.
changed, didn't it?
absolutely,
Yeah. Well, it
But-
made you eat a bit of humble pie, I suppose, didn't
absolutely.
it? Yeah.
But we've grown together, and to be honest, you wouldn't really think there's that many years between us.
No, you wouldn't. Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
well,
she-
the thing
yeah.
is, if you're young at heart as well, then I think that's what closes it. Yeah.
I'm 21, so
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, my dad always said that to me as well about how like you don't mentally actually change in your, you know,
No, you don't.
you like obviously there's the natural human being side to us, but
Well, I speak to my gran who's 88, but in her mind she's 21.
yeah,
It's just,
yeah,
unfortunately, her
Good.
legs don't work anymore. You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
struggles, but in her mind, she's all there, 100%
Brilliant.
all there.
brilliant.
But it's her body that's like sort of failing on her, you know. But that's the thing, and
Yeah,
that's what's happening to me. I feel 50-year-old.
yeah.
And your nan still smokes, right?
Yeah,
still
she smokes
smokes.
like a trooper. Yeah.
That's yeah.
But we all know if she stopped smoking, it's probably worse. She hasn't been told to
there's
stop, but that'd be worse.
It's
than
worse.
fucking-
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
someone who stopped
Yeah.
smoking late and it actually had detrimental
Yeah.
effects because your body tries to heal.
Yeah.
And when it's too much to heal,
Yeah.
you're better off just letting the machine run the way it is. You know.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
done it for that
really?
many years.
Yeah,
Just keep
it's
it
too much
going.
to heal, and then it's a problem.
Because my nan smokes, and she now vapes. To be fair, so I think that was a way of her trying to wing herself off of. But she smoked her whole entire life as well. To be fair, that was a very common thing in that era. There's probably a lot less smokers now than there
Oh, definitely.
was back in the day. I mean, I knew someone that passed away, and he used to smoke like 40 cigarettes a day. Like the concept of that is just
I've never been a smoker, and I can't honestly grasp why people smoke.
yeah.
You know, but
Now tell her
everyone
because
has the vice.
this inspired. Because when I talk to Paul about smoking, it inspires me. He says like, stop smoking, man. Not stop smoking, but it's like
No, but it's
No,
it's
yeah,
100% true. By the
you
way,
live quite a clean life, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
You live a clean life.
I try to. It's not totally clear, but I do, and I'm constantly picking bits up. You know, I was saying about dairy in there. It's,
yeah.
I give things. I do have little phases and fads.
Experiments.
I do, yeah. But
Yeah,
I try,
good.
I see things and I think, right, yeah, let's try
Yeah.
that. Let's try that. And I do try and be. Let's face
Conscious.
it. I am conscious of my own health.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I'll tell you now, as soon as you get to 40, things do start. It's as if things start going a little bit wrong. You know, you
Okay.
get that backache, you get something. You know. So I do try and keep on top of it. I am definitely conscious about my health, and I try and instill it onto these.
Yeah. You can get away with murder while you're young, anyway.
Yeah, well,
That's
the
the thing.
They're bulletproof.
Yeah, I know.
Like
Yeah.
stretching. I've said to him a while back, have a little stretching routine.
Yeah.
And it will pay dividend. When you're 40 odd, you maybe won't have any like back problems.
Yeah.
Because it comes around to everyone.
Yeah.
And he doesn't listen.
Nah.
He's
He
gonna,
will.
he's gonna learn the hard way.
Yeah.
He'll learn the hard
Maybe
way.
be too late then.
Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you know what?
true.
It was quite interesting because when I was younger, I never used to listen to my dad at all.
No.
And it was a little bit, knowing that there was a bit of an absentee there, when he did try to start being a bit more of a father figure, I completely went the other way with it. I weren't interested.
Yeah.
And then I had to go on my own path and find myself again. But do you know what? When I did start listening to him, things started actually working for me rather than against me. And because the reality is your father, your brother, your sister, they should have your best intention.
Absolutely.
I mean, your father, 100%, you know. I think a father's duty is filled once you go well beyond what he's ever achieved.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like a true...
The experience, they don't believe you when they say
Nah.
Well, it's like when you're younger at school and people say the school's the best years of your life, and you're like,
No.
get me out of school, I hate
Yeah.
it. And then as you get older, what were the best years of your life?
Yeah, school.
years.
Yeah.
And that's the classic
It's
example.
simplistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you know what I think? Like the problem with a lot of us is we need to get burnt by our own fire to actually learn the lesson in these.
But the thing is, I'm quite I like to think I'm protective. I don't want them.
No, I
You
know.
know,
To go the same.
Yeah.
I'll use a bad back as an example. Now, his mid-20s, chances of, unless he falls and hurts himself, he'll be okay. But for a fact, wear and tear, when he gets to 40, it'll take its toll.
Yeah,
and he'll get
yeah.
it. So I know that through experience because I've done it.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to suffer that fate.
Yeah,
But they won't listen.
It's sort of one of them things though that you listen to a degree, but you sort of want to not experience the bad back,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you need to experience it yourself
there's
to,
truth- there's
to
truth to it.
realise what the pain is.
The thing
So
is,
you don't want that
when you haven't got a problem up against you and you're being, it's like, well, I don't really need to do this for any
do you
reason.
believe it? Yeah.
So it's only later on when you got to pick up the pieces.
Well, I literally have their best intentions at heart every
Yeah,
time,
100%.
no matter what it is. But yeah.
Talking about learning, they say there's 3 different ways of learning, isn't it? One is experiencing, and that's like the hardest way or the silliest way. The second is looking, so like watching someone else, and the third is listening, so hearing by not repeating someone's mistakes by listening. So the third way is the best way if you can do that, but it's hard because you need to learn by experience mostly. So it's a tricky thing.
I think adversity is a big one for me, by the way. So when you go through life and you go through these experiences and you hit what we feel like these are like rock bottom moments, I love the kind of bounce back, like the let you learn some big lessons there. It humbles you change your whole mindset, and it can help propel you into a more positive direction in your life. And I kind of remember feeling like I hit rock bottom once, and I started my business, and it was a real kind of light bulb moment. It was like I found a real purpose in my life, and all of that kind of like hitting the rock bottom. I think that really kind of changed my perspective on things. Like, it made me like redefine my life, because we take a lot of things for granted until like life comes back and hits us in the face, and then it's a bit of a wake up call so hopefully you don't get a bad back before that time happens. By the way,
start stretching now.
Tell him I told you so.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
100%.
So you got little genie now.
Oh yeah. Well, do you know what?
A genie in the lamp.
Genie, yeah, shout the genie.
My little genie lamp.
Nice.
Yeah. To be honest, so obviously my wife's 14 years younger, and it was a discussion at the time when we got together. Would I be prepared to have any more children? Because I already had three kids, and I didn't really want any more. But I said, look, I'll have one more.
Billy didn't scare you off, no.
I'll have one more. So to be with her, basically, because it wouldn't have been fair on her to say I'm not.
No, yeah, it's true.
So I made the decision. We'd have a child, and do you know what? It's the best thing ever. But
Wow.
do you know? The thing is, these are all my 3 older kids are adults now. Bill's 25, Dan's 21, he's in Navy, and Isabel's 18, and she's doing her own thing. So they're all adults, and I miss my kids. Do you know? I
do. You miss them?
I miss them being kids.
Yeah. Because it's for a short time, isn't it?
Absolutely, miss them. So Jeannie's like that little. People think I'm mad, but people I work with who are similar age, they're getting grandkids. Yeah. To actually have another child, he's like, no, because grandkid, give it back.
Yeah,
100%. That's
it. But no, and do you know what? Absolutely,
it's a blessing.
So I got a guy that works for me called Danny, and he's 48, and he's a great grandfather. And I'm like, I'm just like, I think it's so like unbelievable, to be honest. Like he was definitely he was definitely having a good time from a young age. So, but yeah, to be like a grandfather, great grandfather at such a young age, I think is
But it just shows that you know that what is the right age to have kids. Yeah. I know that there's obviously there's certain biological.
No, absolutely. Well, like Tash, I think Tash, she's young enough to. Would she have more? Probably. I think it's the fact she doesn't like the idea. Even though Jeannie's got half brothers and sisters, but they're all a good bit older.
Right.
I think she wants. She'd like another child, so she's not on her own basically.
Yeah.
If anything happened to us, she don't like the thought of her being on her own.
Yeah.
But I'm 50 this year. I don't think it'd be fair to to have another child.
I know.
And not financially as well.
Well, it keeps you out of trouble as well. That's
Keeps you out of trouble. But yeah, no, I think we've come to the decision that it's just Jeannie. But
how old is Jeannie now?
She's
3.
Well, she's 4 in June.
Okay.
And she's it's all daddy. I think she's at an age now. She knows daddy works away and he goes in a helicopter and everything. And she's just started saying that she doesn't want me to go to work. She misses. She's a proper daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It definitely keeps you young at heart, having a little one about. It's
for sure.
That's positive, 100% positive, and it grounds you. And any silly thoughts you have, you don't do it. Anything.
Yeah.
It definitely has an effect. That moment where you think, and then it's like, no, hang on a minute, come on. Do you know what I mean? What if? And I certainly. Well, I don't suppose these would want anything to happen to me, but they are adults now, whereas she needs a father figure.
100%.
Yeah. No, I think you've done great. Obviously, growing up, not knowing who your father is, now 2 of your boys have taken in your footsteps. Billy joined the rigs, and Danny's in Navy as well, isn't he? Yeah. So he joined
did
the Navy.
Danny follow in your footsteps in the Navy as well?
So I sort of, it was unsure what to do. And I thought, you know what, his age, he was a little bit older than me when he joined. I thought, but you don't have to go for 22 years, you don't have to, you can do your minimum time, but it's an experience. But you know that poor lad joined when COVID was on.
Oh, did he?
And it just affected, it was, his training wasn't, so I got embroiled in it. I was more excited than he was. We used to march outside the house. I'd teach him marching and stuff like that. I loved it. Couldn't wait to go down and see him pass out. Really, really excited about going to Valley again. And look what happened. COVID. His training wasn't nowhere near like what I did. It was cut short. We weren't allowed to go to the passing out parade. His passing out parade wasn't a big effort. They didn't even have the number ones on to do it.
Right.
And I feel sorry for him. He proper missed out on that.
Yeah, man, that sucks, man.
I think so.
Yeah,
it does.
He's not had the great start that I hoped he'd have, and I think, like I say, he's a bit older than when I joined, so he's a bit more.
How old is he? Sorry,
he's 21 now.
21.
So he took a dislike, at one point, but he sparked a new interest, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
He got posted to Scotland for a while, and for whatever happened up there, I think might be Scottish girls. It sparked a little bit of interest.
Okay.
And he's back in. He's sort of enjoying it
some
now.
fun.
He's
Good.
started boxing as well.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
Oh, good for
him. So
just next step, getting on a boat, innit?
Yeah. Well, I need him on a ship. Yeah, just to give him see if he likes it or not.
Yeah.
That might be another thing that just sets him on his way, because he's talking about leaving on his minimum term. But it's still been a great experience.
What is the minimum term?
It's 4 years.
About 4 years.
Yeah. So he's over halfway. But I'm hoping that he's not so much sees sense, but I hope something changes and he just sticks out a little bit longer.
Yeah,
gives
just
it a bit more time to.
Yeah, because I think one of the hardest things in this day and age is that there's so many options, so many things to do, and I think it actually confuses people a little bit. What's going on over there, what's going on over here. So to actually have conviction and follow something through is almost like a rarity.
Well, do you know what so when he was saying he wasn't enjoying it, and it maybe brought that bullying thing back from me. Now I he's not being bullied, but they were sort of singling him out because he's quite outspoken, and I think he was sort of saying, I'm not keen on Navy, I'll leave on it. And I think the wrong people heard that, and sort of, so he was sort of pinpointed to not get this and not this happen.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get over that and
change the outlook,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a shame, but I think he's over it now.
Yeah, it might even give him a bit of determination in the process. Because
sorry, that's what I was saying. So I sort of said, I'll get in touch with him if you want to leave. I'll literally say your mental health's not good enough.
Yeah.
I'll get you out of the navy. And he was like, no.
Yeah.
Do my foot. And do you know what I thought?
Yes.
Nice one, son.
That's my boy.
Do you know what I mean? Nice one. Get your head down because things change.
They do.
You know,
but there's a big thing about the odds being against you and you feeling like you deserve something, and showing the rest of the world that actually I'm gonna, I'm gonna put it to the man.
See,
and
I'm a nightmare for being protective over these.
Yeah.
I would have literally gone and banged on them gates and carried on alarming. He's 20, he's a man.
I know.
Same with him. If I think anyone's picking on him, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I don't like
It's ever his mum.
Anyone.
Yeah.
I really don't.
No, I can. That's it's a good way to be. I think sometimes you got to let people flourish as well, and it's always finding that balance. You know, if you try to protect them too much, it disadvantages them.
I can be overprotective.
Yeah.
It comes from a good place.
It definitely.
Yeah, it comes from the heart. I only want the best for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's tough,
I've been lucky. All three of them. Not a problem. Isabel, my eldest daughter, I think she's in a. She doesn't know what she wants. But it's harder for a girl. You know, I could have said pack her off and join Navy.
Yeah. That was the easy option.
She doesn't know really what she wants to do. She works in a nursery, but that's not what she doesn't want to work in a nursery. She's still got ideas, but she doesn't know what she wants to do really. But she's enjoying life. She's 18. She works hard and she likes to drink. Does it?
We're all on that journey anyway about not like kind of wanting to understand what it is that we're passionate about. And I don't know if there's an age limit to that as well, you know, where for someone that's trialing new things out and going outside of their comfort zone all the time, they're always going to find different things that they enjoy or they don't enjoy. And I think that's kind of part of the purpose of life, of going through that journey and saying that worked for me, that didn't work for me, you know. And 18 is like really young in this day and age to even have a clue. I don't even think I really had a clue what I wanted to do at 16. I went straight into the construction industry. So, but there's so many times even now where I'm like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do that? You know, there's too many options out there all the time. So figuring it out can be sometimes harder for us in this generation compared to say when you were younger at 16, where it was just kind of, you got to get on with it, got to do a job, whatever job it is, just get on with it, get some money in. And
it's definitely harder for girls though. I think 100%.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. But she'll find a way. She'll find a way. She'll land on her feet.
Absolutely. So what would your message be to the world? What would your message be to the world? Because we're going to end up wrapping it up. So let's obviously.
Well, for me, is be humble and treat people how you expect to be treated yourself. That's one thing I've learned over the years. You know, is because I haven't always been nice to people. You know, but as I've got older, definitely treat people with respect and treat them as you would expect to be treated yourself. Yeah, I mean, it's an age-old message, but
it's
definitely true.
Yeah,
definitely true.
Definitely, like he says, take a step back and just look at the bigger picture. Just take a deep breath, and you don't have to jump straight into it. Do you know what I mean? And like,
it's all about the bigger picture.
Do you know something? You've been a big. No, I'm not just saying it because we're sat here, but you have been a big inspiration, and especially for him.
Oh, just to like actually change your mindset and see how spending 24 hours with you is just like
a privilege.
Yeah, definitely. It's a definite privilege.
I love coming down. We don't come down often, but we do come down still, don't we?
You do.
And you know what? I say to people when we come and see Sam, do you know the conversations I have with Sammy
flow.
They flow, but they're just different.
Yeah. It's mutual, by the way.
Just your values and stuff like that.
It's
you know
mutual,
what I mean? You're not. I don't see you as like the same person. Like, I don't know how to explain it really, but like you're not the same as everyone else. Your values are totally different, and I don't see that a lot. So it's nice to like absorb what you are thinking and how you see and how your outcome is. And do you know what I mean?
Thank you both, man. And it means a lot to me, for real.
You're definitely inspirational, 100%.
And I just think, like, for instance, coming on today, like, just take that chance in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might be a bit, I I don't know, it's not for me. It maybe ain't for you, but how will you ever know unless you
try? Yeah,
unless you take that step
Nah,
and try
listen,
it.
the feelings are mutual, man. That's why I wanted you both here today to share your story. And yeah, I love spending time with you both as well, and all the conversations we have. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I loved it. By the way, it was a great
It's
story.
fun experience.
Yes.